Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Beyond Breakfast. We are in the middle of learning through the midah of gratitude, hakarat hatov. And yesterday we spoke about this idea that when you're in the process of receiving gratitude, the concern is that you might feel indebted to somebody else. They did a tova for you, you recognize that tova, and now you have a responsibility to do something back in return. And therefore, the hack around this is that when someone does hakarat hatov for you, wow! When someone does hakarat hatov for you, then you should do something in return for them right away. This way, you're automatically flipping this sense of hakarat hatov, and you're not lost. Okay, there's always this balance. Okay, so this is based on Rav Volbe's Sefer Alei Shor. And he has in his 15th chapter of Alei Shor, he has a piece called Hakarat HaTov, and this is all based on that. Okay, so this is Vad Ruvi'i, his the fourth conversation in having a discussion about Hakarat HaTov, gratitude. So he says as follows: he says, the closer the relation between people, the harder it becomes to recognize and express gratitude to each other. The question is why? Why is it that the closer you are to someone, the more difficult it is to feel a sense of Hakarat HaTov? We see this with children, we see this with spouses, they take care of us, they do all these things for us. Why can't you say thank you? Why can't you go ahead and be more appreciative? So a stranger does it, you right away recognize it. But a family member does it, you are unable to go ahead and, sorry, gentlemen in the background, shh, I'm so sorry, can't compete with everybody here. So he says as follows. Rav Volbe says, as they become accustomed to receiving favors from one another, over time, each begins to assume the other is obligated to do those things. So as you, in that relation, you build that relationship, the hakarat hatov becomes weaker because that's your chiyuv. You have a chiyuv to do for me. You have an obligation to do for me. And if you're obligated to do for me, then why should I thank you? By the way, which is also a bad mean that I don't, when we got that clock, the Hey Google, we have a clock in the house, say, Hey Google, you're asking questions. I hate the fact that you could just say, Hey Google. Hey Google, I tell my kids, please. Hey Google, please. Hey Siri, please. Always add the please. You got to keep teaching that to them. Okay, so he says as follows. He says, and if one time something is lacking, the other person feels wronged. If a debt wasn't paid, the dynamic corrodes the relationship and particularly it undermines peace. The home is not just a very foundation of constant mutual kindness between husband and wife. Is it not? The husband toils and struggles to bring income into the home. And if he's studying Torah, he still toils and struggles to support the household. The wife is burdened with raising the children, running the home. And if she also works to contribute financially, then she bears double the burden. It must be clarified explicitly. A woman is not obligated to financially support the home. The obligation lies upon the husband. It's in bold. As he wrote in her ketubah, right? I will work and provide. If a woman chooses to take on the responsibility of supporting the home out of love for Torah, so her husband can continue learning without interruption, how much gratitude is owed to her for the self-sacrifice? Both husband and wife must understand that the love and peace in their home depends on this. Each one of them never tries to recognize the other's goodness and expressing it both in words and in action. This is what we see when the angel asked Avraham Avinu, where is Sarah Ishtecha? Why didn't they ask to endear her to her husband? By reminding him, behold, she is in the tent. Meaning the reason why the angels asked, where is Sarah? To remind Abraham that she's the one preparing all the food. Oh, you're doing all the chesed out here. You're the salesman on the outside, but who's doing it on the inside? Sarah is managing everything on the inside. To make sure that she is recognized as this modest, refined woman who is actually doing all of the necessary work to allow Abraham to do the chesed. From here we learn this kind of endearment must continue even into old age. And even among the greatest of the great, people think that when you get older in a relationship, there's no more having fun, right? It all dies. It's all serious business, this and that. This is, we say when you're young, you're involved in what we call courtship. Right, courting the person. Right, this is our chatan over here. He just got married. He spent a lot of time trying to court this young lady into marrying him, and now he gave her the ring. You think it's all over, right? But the truth is that this is just the beginning of the mishugas, the craziness, right? But the art of having a great relationship is recognizing that the courtship never ends. But most importantly, what are you doing in a situation where there's this constant give and take, where we can naturally desensitize ourselves to the people around us, right? And and not offer an expression of hakarat hatov. You know, like we say this. Rav Fari yesterday mentioned in his class a book called The Five Love Languages, written by a guy named Gary Chapman. He's a professor of anthropology, and he went around studying different cultures around the world, and he realized that in all the cultures that he saw around the planet, there are 5 universal languages that people use to express love. One of them is acts of service. You do something for me, I feel loved. Another one is words of affirmation. You have quality time, you have gifts, you have touch. These are the 5 different languages that we all use to express hakarat hatov. And by the way, the Torah itself is super particular about all these things, right? The laws of Taharat Mishpacha, the laws of family purity, like Shomer Nekiah, are not accidental. They remind you that the nature of the body is that when it is exposed to any stimuli for long periods of time, you become numb to that stimuli. Right? I leave my finger in the palm of my hand long enough, eventually I won't feel it. Right? And therefore the Torah understands the nature of the body. So what does it do? It creates boundaries. There's times you're on, times you're off, times you're together, times you're apart. The same is true in every aspect of our lives. So I often tell my chatanim, when I prepare them, I say to them, when you are not a nida, right, and therefore the relationship is working on quality, on physical touch and quality time, right? But the time when you can't touch each other is a time you're supposed to be working on words of affirmation, right? There's no one language. We all need all 5. Some people are dominant in one of the languages. But all the languages are things we all require. Who doesn't want to hear words of affirmation? Who doesn't want quality time? Who doesn't want gifts? Who doesn't want? We want all those things, but there's the right time for all those things. And therefore, the Torah is reminding us that there's the nature of a relationship is when you're too much exposure, you don't feel it anymore. If you didn't have a Shabbat to break the cycle of the week, you would never appreciate time. You keep going the same cycle over and over again. It's back to the same Sunday, the same Monday, but Shabbat breaks it. It's all for Shabbat because we want to elevate time. So he says as follows. He says so much more so for regular couples in their mutual life together. Meaning, like all of our lives and every aspect of everything that we're working towards in our relationships is ultimately about this thing. Are you able to appreciate the other? And it goes both ways, right? It's not one person doing while the other person. It has to be mutual. If there's no mutual respect, mutual love, mutual giving, mutual conversation, the whole entire thing ends up crashing and burning. But Bezrat Hashem, tomorrow we'll pick up with Hakarat Hatov number 5. Have a great day, everybody.
Wonderful. Thank you.